notice, correct, John?
Yes, notice was posted on the 9th according to statutory requirements.
Great. And we did have a roll call. On president's comments, I just want to say we did not redo the agenda, but I'd like you to know that we are voting under old business. If you notice on your minutes from the last meeting in November, you did vote on the whether or not to have in-person meetings or to continue the Zoom meetings. So it was decided to have in-person meetings, but it was brought up at the last meeting that you wanted to have another vote. So even though it's not written on the agenda, it's written in under my comments to tell you that when we get to old business under G, we will be voting on that again. Even though we voted in November, we're voting again in December. Is that clear? Any questions on that?
The only thing I'd like to add to that, if you may,
Yes, John.
if I may, is that can be brought up by somebody who voted against the last motion, for the last motion, and not necessarily anybody that voted against it by Robert's rules. But let's forget about Robert's rules, because I don't think the only person who voted for it will vote for it again. So maybe George would. George, are you here?
The two that voted against it were George and John West.
John
right?
West. So one of those two has to bring it back on the table again.
Okay,
Because, no, I'm sorry. Anybody else can bring it up. I apologize because it failed. So anybody can bring it back up when it's time. So we're good.
okay. Any other comments or anything you want to bring up? That will come up though when we get to the old business, even though we didn't write it in. I want you to put a note there. Under G, that's when it will come up. Okay, all right, reviewing the minutes, please. And do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion? Then I guess I will say anybody opposed to it, because it's difficult when you're doing a Zoom meeting to do it any other way. Nobody's opposed to it, and I can only see on my screen right now on the top with this new way that we're looking at people, I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, including myself. So I'm not sure how we want to do this, because it's the only way I can see. I can only see 6 people.
Okay, I've got my hand up, which you probably can't see, Sue.
No, I can't. Oh, I see, I
Okay.
see you. Okay, Pam.
Okay, I am confused, John, as to what you were saying. What was defeated? As far as,
John West made a motion to have continue Zoom meetings.
okay, so
And
the
that was-
motion,
That
the
was
motion was to
defeated.
continue Zoom meetings,
Yeah.
not to open them up. Okay,
That's
got
right.
it.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, all right.
And it's in the minutes if you look at it, and it was voted against, it was voted to have in-person meetings, but we're doing it again because it was brought up at the workshop. Does that make any sense? I mean, am I clear?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Everybody's
So-
muted.
Yeah, this is hard. So, yes, Claire,
Is it my understanding that if a motion is defeated, we can bring it up as many times until we get the result everybody wants?
the motion wasn't defeated.
Yes,
The
it was.
motion-
Yes,
Yes,
it was.
it was.
Oh, it was, yeah.
The
motion was-
prevailing, see, the prevailing side can bring it up, and the prevailing side was no. So it could be brought back up again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so now I'm a little quandary here, John, in order to get these minutes approved, since I cannot see everybody and everybody is on mute. How do we get an approval that says yay? The motion is carried, that we all accept the minutes as they are presented here.
Well, I
can
guess we ought to
change,
unmute him for motions.
If I may, Sue, you can change your view to the gallery view. You have it on speaker view if you go up here to the right.
I'm
under
doing it
view-
right now. I'm on gallery view right now. Okay,
you-
I am
you
now
can
on
see
gallery
everybody.
view. So if there is anybody who does not approve of these minutes, I would like you to raise your hand. Then I would know. If I don't see any hands, I'm presuming you approve the minutes as they have been presented. Not seeing any hands. I'm looking very carefully. The minutes are approved as written.
Say upper.
Thank you. Okay, that works. All right, so next thing is financial matters. So, Mr. John, that goes to you because
Yes,
John West
John's
is
not
not
here.
here.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Chris, I've lost picture. I've just got some lady on some kind of
Advertisement.
advertisement here. Anyway, if everybody can hear me, that's fine. Okay. Refer to the financial document as of the 30th of November. Operational funds, $665,054.64. Reserves, $1,294,680.32. Our total cash and reserves, $1,959,734.95. The total assets are $2,098,385.47, and that balances with the equities. And that, of course, you'll note under liabilities and equity, we have no accounts payable. We have some $38,000 worth of prepaid assessments rather. And what's unearned income, that is the money held in abeyance for the December expenses. Then they have the cable bill of $31,590.14. So bottom line is the assets and liabilities balance. Any questions on the balance sheet? Okay, we'll go over to the summary. I presume everybody hears me, even though we can't see the screen, right? Do you hear me, Sue?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm
Okay.
fine.
All
And
right,
because the budget is on the screen right now, so I can't see everybody else's
Okay,
face.
we don't have that. We have some ad here. For some reason it clicked off. I don't know. Should I come in again, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know any reason for that to happen, John.
Okay, well, as long as everybody can hear me, let me go on with the financial, then we'll play with this as we talk.
Yeah, because everybody on the board has a copy of this budget
Yeah.
in front of them. They've gotten in their packet.
All right. Expenses. The income for the year of 11 months is over budget by $2,009.99. We're running over expenses in administration, and that is budget to actual because of the insurance increase. We're slightly under in informational technology. We are under on grounds, and we will continue that through the end of the year because the biggest expense that they'll have will not be until January for the mulch. So we'll get through with a little bit of surplus in that account. The buildings have jumped up radically to $41,000 over budget. And of course, this includes the $12,900 expense of the repair of the electrical ground straps that were done in November. I'm very unhappy to say that we have 4 more to do. 2 just happened last Friday, believe it or not. So we're going to continue with that overage in that particular area. In all, we're slightly over budget by $4,518. Utilities still in good shape, under budget by almost $31,000. The most critical thing we can take a look at here is the fact that because of these tremendous overage in the buildings, primarily due to these ground straps, our operating surplus is down to $114,588. Now, I anticipate December to come back up to some level. I won't know till exactly when it comes in. But as you know, we are intended to take $30,000 of that figure into next year's budget. So it looks like we will, for the first time, go under the $100,000 line that you had tried to maintain. hopefully next year's budget will be in such an adequate shape as by the time we get through the end of it, we'll be back up to the $100,000. That's our aim. Any questions? Okay. Accounts receivable, you'll notice in the manager's report, one unit owes more than $500, but less than a quarter. 2 units only owe 2 quarters. I mean, I'm sorry, 2 units owe 1 quarter. No units owe 2 quarters, and units with legal issues are 3. Unit 364, that's basically, we've said the same from the very beginning. The bank is foreclosing on the owners that passed away. We will get our share of what the bank will pay when they finally finish. I'm anticipating that to be done probably in February from the word I'm getting. Unit 762 has a lien and a foreclosure action against us. We've also added the attorney's fees and the repairs to that. The foreclosure action was filed the first day we could, and that's moving ahead forward. Finally, 718 is a new one. They owe a little bit more than what they owe, 1.5 quarters, and they're habitually late. So we filed a lien, so we couldn't not mess around with them. That's my report on the finances. Any questions?
So,
Claire, how do we get by you?
well, I just unmuted myself. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yes.
John, what is your feeling on unit 762 that we are going to be able to recoup all that money?
Well, it's interesting. I'm glad you asked that question. There seems to be no mortgage on it. However, they have not paid their real estate taxes for 3 years. So the unit certainly has value. And in talking to the attorney, they say when there's no mortgage, everybody jumps in on these things and tries to bid them. Where if there was a big mortgage on it, the association, nobody wants to grab the mortgage, the association would normally get it, subject to the mortgage, and then we sell it and then satisfy the mortgage. But someone may step up at the courthouse steps and purchase this thing because it's a unit that, could be 150, today's market could be $175,000, and it's only encumbered by our lien of about 13,000 and taxes that are about 6,000. So for $20,000, somebody can buy a unit. So we're hoping we can get it, and we can make the sale, and we can add to our coffers again. That would help us get right back up in the operating surplus cash if we can do it.
Okay, but if somebody else buys it, they've got to pay off our liens.
Yeah,
If somebody else buys it, they have to pay our liens, which would end up in the $13,000 category. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, we wouldn't lose that part of it. Okay, any other questions on any of this financial information that John has presented? I can only see anybody there, so if you have a question, I guess you're gonna have to, go back here. Anybody have a question so I can see you now? We're all on screen. Nope. Okay, now we're going to move on to old business. And we will first of all address the second floor entry slab renovation. And I believe that goes to Steve.
I can do it for him.
Okay.
Okay.
We will not start the project again till next year because when the money's come available. However, we did investigate some chipping on 610. Steve and I both went and didn't find much chipping, but did find some scuffing there. And I believe that at present, we're contemplating maybe painting it the brown.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back and repaint that just to alleviate any problems that you might have. Secondarily, I've got a Scribner's error. We painted walkway to unit 152, not 142.
Okay,
And Linda Miller's unit. she'd had some slippage problems and she's satisfied with what we did there.
Okay, good. Okay, Claire, I think you're up next, the operations and employee. First of all, any other questions on the entranceway before we move away from that? All right. Claire, you're next.
Okay, we met a little over a week ago and went over most of the employees manual. None of these are going to be handed out before the holidays. We decided to hold everything in January, then we'll hand them out, and I'm going to make copies of the pages of the operations manual that we changed and underlined where we changed, because I would like to be able to highlight it, but the copier won't pick up the highlights. And that way it'll be a little bit clearer to people, but I'm not sending 2 complete copies of the operations manual. It's just going to be the new one that we've done, plus the pages that have been changed. So just be looking for that. I hope to get it done within the first couple of weeks of the new year, but you never know. But anyway, I thank my committee members. They've worked very hard, and we're hoping that this will take care of what we're trying to take care of.
Any
I tell
questions?
you, they're doing a yeoman's job and they've had many meetings and the discussion's been very good.
Good job. They've done a nice job. Okay, any other comments? Entry sign.
Okay, I took some pictures of our entry sign and as a start, took it up to Florida Signs. We're right up on off of 14th Street, just north of Cortez. Met with the designers there. They're going to take a look at it. They're going to come out and do a measurement, and they're going to give us some ideas. And then we can talk about some of the ideas, and then we can put it out for bids once we decide on what we want to do. I mean, they had some fancy stuff there with the blinking lights and everything else, but I don't think we want that.
No. Unless it looks like we're going into a movie theater or something,
Right.
right? Okay, but
Right
when do you
here
think you're gonna
now.
get, when do you think you're gonna get those, John?
I'm hoping for our next meeting.
For January?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Comments, questions? Okay, next thing, cluster advisors. You know, I went through the one that was handed out to you last month in November. That's the meeting that I wasn't at. And it looked to me, we needed one representative from N, one from R, and one from T. There were 3 of them that we were missing. I had that sitting here, but I don't know where I put it now. Is that correct, John? There were 3
That
of
is
them?
correct. Yes, NR and T.
Right, and so have we been able to find anybody, since you were given that at the last meeting, any of the board members, were you able to find anybody that would take care of those particular clusters, N, R, and T? Well, I have a couple of suggestions, because I really think we need to, I think we need to start doing something. We might have a meeting with the people who have agreed to be cluster advisors, and maybe they know somebody they could recommend for NR&T, or maybe out of the kindness of their heart, one of them may agree to maybe take over NR&T until we found somebody, and maybe one of the directors would, you know, also maybe go a little harder and try to find somebody in those particular clusters. What's your feeling on this?
Who are the directors?
We only need 3 people. I mean,
N would be Palm Tree.
Chris,
R and T is Woodlawn.
I can certainly put those up on the website. I didn't know that R was one that was missing.
yes,
And so it was only the board members that knew that, wasn't the whole community. And so I can certainly talk to some people here in R, that's where I live,
Yeah.
who might be interested. And
Thank
again,
you.
I would definitely put it in the announcement area.
Yeah, no, that's right. R is like I said.
okay, I'm hearing somebody that's, so I'm just saying those are only 3. I think Any other comments? I mean, I'm just throwing them out for suggestions. Those, we only need 3 more people. Maybe somebody else would be, I wish I knew where I put that list. Those are my suggestions. How do you feel about it?
So
Anybody else on the board? Yes,
do we
Claire.
have, do we have any new owners in any of those clusters?
I really don't know. John, do you know if we have any new owners in any of those 3? Just a minute. Monica, I'll be right with you.
We may have one in N. But not, oh, I might be able to find somebody in T also. I'll look at the, yeah, N and T, I think have some new owners.
Because it might be a good way for a new owner to get to know people and familiarize themselves with the processes here and that kind of thing. Just a suggestion.
Monica?
Yeah, there's a new owner at 422. The lady has several degrees, was active in political and newspaper, and I'm sure she would like to do that. Her name is Lauren.
Okay, we'll try that.
422.
Well,
And we interviewed 426, Marty Kaufman's old place this morning, and she might have some interest too.
Okay.
Good.
because I think that at our next meeting, we probably should set up a date to meet, to have these gals get together and start having a meeting, because I think it's important that they're very important in my opinion. So I don't want to hold off too much longer and getting them together and letting them know how important they are and making them an integral part of Wildwood Springs. So with that in mind, hopefully by January, John, maybe you and I can communicate a little bit and see if we get those 3. And Chris, I'd appreciate it if you put that up in your area and see if we can get somebody in there. Any other?
Yeah,
We'll do
643 and 644 are new owners in Woodlawn.
Okay. Let's see what we can do.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have the status of the Holiday Collection Fund.
Yes, the owners have been, as usual, very generous, and we will at least attain last year's amount, which was, I think, was $1,200 each. It's been very nice. People have been very thoughtful in their giving.
Good. That's good to hear. I didn't know if we have to go out and start ringing doorbells, collecting money. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're in pretty good shape. Don't tell anybody though.
No.
We like to surprise them.
Yes. So how are we on the, we were going to talk about the electronic mailings. We were working on what's allowed statutory.
Yes.
That might save some money. Did we figure out anything that we could use to do that?
Well, we've done, I talked at a no cost to our attorney. Asked him if he would give me some advice off the record, if you will. And he confirmed basically what Roger said when he brought this topic up, that other than the annual mailing notice where there's elections involved, the state has allowed most of the other types of mailings to be electronic. However, we must have approval from those owners to accept it. So we've devised a form here, and all the new people that have been interviewed in the last 3 weeks have all been given a form and signed it and given to us. It's going to be part of the new packet. What I intend to do is also send this form out in the annual mailing notice, so everybody will get it. And if they return it, then we should be on our way towards saving money, at least maybe next year.
Okay, great. Then, so we're on the way of doing it. I don't know if we send out many of them other than at the main meeting, but at least if we come up with something, we're able to do it, and we'll have the people who want it that way.
Yes.
Yes, Barbara.
John,
Barbara,
yes, sorry, just wanted to get on mute there. John, do we know how much about that would save by going to electronic mailing?
no.
I haven't done a figure on it right now. It could be as much as $300-400 at least, if not
Okay.
more. But I mean, there's still going to have to do the annual mailing notices, and you're still going to have to do the budget because of the interaction of that. And so the rest, anything else that we would do, we could do via electronics.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, Dick. Can't hear you. Dick, we can't hear you. You gotta unplug yourself. Dick, Chris, I don't know how to let him know that he's on mute. You gotta unmute yourself, Dick. Down at the bottom, there's a spot. Or Chris can do it, or Chris, can you unmute him?
I can only ask to unmute him.
I'm
Okay.
asked, oh,
There we go. There we
Okay,
go.
did
Okay,
that do
Dick.
it? Okay, something just popped up. Thank you for being patient. John, my question is, will we get packets like this, for our records, even if we go to electronic mailing as officers?
As board members and officers, we will remain giving everybody the hard copies to deal with. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we're gonna move on. Leslie, I'm just gonna comment. Is that a picture of you or is that just really you since you don't ever change your expression? I think it's just a picture of her, right?
That's
talking-
the real me.
Yeah, that's.
Can't be, it's a picture. Who you trying to
that's a
kid?
picture.
She's blowing us the
Okay,
kiss.
let's go on to, I think probably the only vote we're doing today, but does anyone like to bring up a motion on this discussion that we're talking about? Considering having open meetings or Zoom meetings?
Well,
Yes, Claire,
okay, do I have to put it in a motion form?
I think so, John, don't they?
Well, I would say for discussion purposes, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
no, we do not want to change our vote from last time, or yes, we want to revisit it.
Okay, the vote last time was to go to in-person meetings, correct?
Correct.
We are currently going to an in-person meeting in January. That's correct.
And I move that we don't change our vote from the last meeting. That we go to in-person meetings.
Okay, so we have a motion that we go to in-person meetings. So do I hear a second?
I will
I'll
second.
second Claire's motion.
And Roger is a second. Now, is there any discussion on this motion? This is where, okay, who said yes? That was Shannon. Yes,
Yeah.
Shannon.
I think the reasons why I would oppose the motion have to do with the Omicron variant and the fact that there's still people who are unvaccinated.
Okay, anybody else? Discussion? Not just one comment we need to discuss.
I agree with him.
Monica?
Roger has his hand up too.
Roger, excuse me. Go on, Roger.
I just want to say that I think that the one thing we want to remember is that if at all possible, we want to have the Zoom meeting along with the in-person meetings. And there are a variety of ways that we can do that. The IT committee talked at length about that on Friday. There may be some limitations. I don't know if John has gotten any information about that room at the church, whether or not it has the Wi-Fi capability there or not. There may be some other possibilities that we could begin by having a small group that want to meet in person in the office and then do the Zoom meeting from there for anybody else who doesn't want to attend in person, or for the owners for that flexibility. But I think because we've become so accustomed to having this ability, it's like anything else where we've now gone to using technology, we don't want to lose that ability.
John, can I ask you a question too? Have you checked with the office?
Yes.
I mean, with the church, how are we on the IT there?
I did, and they cannot confirm at the present time whether Zoom will be, whether Wi-Fi is available. They tried something there and it did not work, but it involved their speaker system. So I had to call somebody else over there and they promised to get back to me, but they weren't available today. I called them Friday. And
Okay.
so we're still waiting to hear whether there's capabilities. Right now, I doubt it, but let's don't take that for the gospel by any means.
Hey, Chris, and I'm gonna go back to you and ask you, maybe give us some, if we go to the church and people want to do Zoom, is there a possibility of doing that or no?
Well, I did some research on that, and the issue is a little complex. One of the things, the best way to do it would be to have a projector there, and that way we could project the people that are zooming in onto a screen so that the people live could see the people that are on Zoom. We would also need a speaker system so that everybody could hear the people in the room, could be heard by Zoom, and the people on Zoom could hear the people in the room. So you have to have some speaker stuff. You also have to have a camera. And the camera would have the people live so that the people on Zoom could see the people in the room on the camera. And
Okay, so
then,
can I just stop you for 1 minute for those of us who are not quite as technologically advanced as you? First of all, you're saying we need a screen, speaker stuff, whatever that is, and a camera. So do we right now, do we have a screen?
Yes,
Do we have speaker stuff?
yes.
Do
And we
we
have-
have,
A question, Chris, the speaker stuff that we have, can we integrate it?
well, I'm not sure. I think so. And
Okay.
we have a camera and we have a projector. So we have all the things that we probably would need, except we would need a robust internet connection. And the feeling I would have is sort of the one that Roger brought up, and that is, I would think that at least initially, it would be easier to do this in the office where we know we have a good internet connection than to do it in the church.
so let me ask them, if we do this in the office and the board is in the office, right? Or those of us who want to be in the office, have an in-person, then you could hook up the screen, the speaker stuff, the camera, the projector, and we would have a robust internet connection, and we could basically have an in-person meeting and still have Zoom for anybody who did not want to be in person.
Yes.
Okay, so let me get this now. So everybody understands this, and because I do want you asking questions. If we go with the in-person is going to include the Zoom possibility in the office. And it has to go into the office because we're assured of a robust internet connection. Correct?
Yes.
So that would be one option. The second option would be just to continue with the Zoom the way we are doing it right now. Those are, is that our two options from what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes, I guess the third option would be you have it in the church and you have no Zoom.
Okay, we have three options and I'm gonna go over them again. Continue what we're doing right here, which is strictly a Zoom. Continue with an in-person meeting in Wildwood Spring office with the Zoom possibility there. Or have it in the church, an in-person meeting with no Zoom. Is that correct? Those are our three options. Now, yes, Claire.
I don't know that I would be in favor of having it in the church without the possibility of a Zoom, because I don't want to exclude anybody, either on the board or in the general public.
Good point.
I would not consider that one, no.
So Claire, you need to condition your motion because there's a motion on the table
Right,
that is a wide open, just open meeting, they're in-person meetings. So you need to modify your motion.
Because it was your motion.
then I'm going to modify the motion that we go to in-person meetings in the office with the Zoom possibility.
And I can second that.
Okay, thanks, Roger.
Okay,
So
we are
moved.
open for discussions now on this revised motion of having an in-person meeting with a Zoom possibility in the office. And I have discussion right now. Steve's hand is up.
Thank you. I just had a question about if we do it in the office, in person, what if we have 40 owners show up?
Right, it's gotta be no owners.
That would be my contention, yes.
Okay, well then can I further modify the motion?
Yes, you may.
You know what? I'm tired of redoing this motion.
I'm gonna modify the motion for the last time, that we move to in-person meetings in the office for board members with the Zoom possibility for anybody else who wants to attend.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I can agree to those changes.
Thank
Okay,
you,
Roger. Now we are open for
You know what? I've had
discussion.
my hand up for 20 minutes here.
Oh, Pam, I'm sorry. You got to yell and say, hey, Sue, I'm sorry, Pam.
Okay, I'm gonna read this motion the way I've had to write it down, Claire.
Thank you, Pamela.
All right.
We may want
so
to change
far-
it again, Pam.
No, you're not. Do not change our vote on in-person meetings, but
It doesn't say
But-
anything about if a board member doesn't want to come, can they come in on Zoom?
excuse me,
Yes,
They can. Okay, all right.
in-person meetings, but not at the church without Zoom possibility, but in the office with Zoom capability for board members only.
Yes,
George had his hand up too. Where's George?
Yeah,
just
but
saw it when
wait a minute, I had another comment.
Okay,
My hand wasn't up for that originally. My hand was up for how many variants are we gonna have for the rest of our lives?
a lot.
And the last thing I read was there are 43 confirmed cases in the country. No. Yes. So I don't think we can continue to do this. We cannot continue to work out of an atmosphere of fear for something that we don't even know, nobody knows what's going on apparently. So there you go.
Thank you, Pamela. George, you had your hand up.
Yes, I agree with the motion. I think it's a good idea to start it out in the church. There'll be board members that don't want to attend, so don't worry about it getting too crowded. The history has shown that not many members, unit owners show up at the meetings anyway. And
Excuse me, George. I don't want to
will-
interrupt, George, excuse me. I don't want to interrupt you, but you said started out in church. That's not what the motion was.
no, I at the office, start in the office.
Thank you.
And with the Zoom capability. And in the meantime, we could learn like we did with Zoom originally, and we can learn how to integrate this and maybe bring it into the church later on if we find that that would be possible. But yes, I agree. Let's have in-person meetings and keep people in Zoom contact if they want to be. I think that's a good motion, and I think that's the only comments I want to make. You can go ahead and vote.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Yes, Roger.
I'll make another comment. So I would just remind everybody that having the in-person meeting for the directors in the office with the capability of Zoom allows directors that don't want to come to the office to also be on Zoom. So I think it provides both options for anybody to choose where they want to be. Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you.
I appreciate the effort to, I
Shannon, we heard,
I appreciate the concern to be inclusive about this.
thank you. Anybody else? Clock is ticking. I'm about ready to say we're going to take a vote here. So if you have a comment, please, 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 now is the time. Okay, with that, I would ask Madam Secretary to please take a vote on the motion. The motion is to, I think I have it, move to an in-person meeting in the office with, for the board members with a Zoom possibility for anybody else who would like to use Zoom. Is that
That's
about
great.
right?
Well, that's
Yeah.
about it, but that's not how I have it written because I
Okay.
was writing with Claire's additions.
Well, the addition would be no owners.
I got that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. Cookie.
So,
In-person meeting in office?
Yes.
with a Zoom possibility for
Yes.
anybody else.
With the Zoom possibilities for owners?
And you say yes?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes,
I say yes. Shannon?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes,
Denny?
Yes.
George?
Yes,
Monica?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes,
Tammy?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes,
Unanimous for those who are here.
Yay.
okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad we got through that. That's a movement in the right direction, I think, so we'll see what happens. And there probably will be a few things that we'll have to work our way through, just like we have on other things when we're going to Zoom, but I ask all of you to have patience, and I'm thanking Chris in advance. And thank God he has a lot of patience. Okay, now we're ready to go on to new business. Mr. John, communications, please.
Communications, and you received copies of these, but a letter was sent to Mr. Elkel, 828 Oak Drive, requesting her to cease putting out food for undomesticated animals. Primarily, she's feeding the feral cats, but unfortunately, that draws the other things such as rats and raccoons. I have not received an answer from her as yet. Letter was sent to Roger Rhymes, 663 Woodlawn Drive, requesting he keep his dog on a leash. He's agreed to do so, and I've seen him since, and the dog has been on a leash since he's received the letter. And finally, a letter sent to Miss Whitmore at 114 Pinehurst Drive. She's feeding flocks of birds behind her place, and the birds traffic is congregated behind her unit in such a manner it's taken out all the turf and everything else. I have not received any information back from her yet.
Okay. That's in the communications, I believe. So
Yes.
B is discussing the amending Article 7.2. Has to do with the hard surface flooring in the dining room, living room, and bedrooms of the second floor units. We had an attachment which was circled for everybody to read over.
And I'd like to, if I may, have Steve, Steve's done some research, some interesting research on this, and has a report to make.
I went to a flooring company and had a long discussion and ended up talking to a guy who really knew the flooring business and found out that the STC rating, when it was made, it was based on a 6-inch slab. So there is no rating on a 4-inch slab. So those who have put flooring in because of our guidelines are really misleading, have never obtained the 70 STC because a 4-inch slab just does not qualify. So that's why we have such a noise problem in our downstairs units, is because of this 4-inch slab, which just evidently not very many associations or buildings ever have gone with a 4-inch slab. So makes it even more important, I think, for us to just say, you go change the rules to where there is no hard surface flooring in the living room, dining room, and bedrooms.
So
Yes,
ahead.
Claire.
just because we have a 4-inch slab, why does that preclude us from requiring a standard for a 6-inch slab, which should be better over a 4-inch slab?
The opposite.
Well,
It's the opposite.
as I understand it, Claire, we don't have the ability to put in enough
Padding.
noise abatement materials to achieve the 70 rating that our documents currently request.
The guy there said that you cannot put anything more than this one pad underneath of vinyl flooring because of the locking mechanisms. If it gets too cushy, the locking mechanisms won't work and they'll just come separated. So that's the thickest thing you can put is this 70 rating, but it's only rated if you have a 6-inch slab. There is no rating for a 4-inch slab.
So you can't use, just for my own clarification, you can't use a higher rating on a
4-inch.
slab because there is no rating for a 4-inch slab.
Right.
Because it will not allow the floor to lay flat.
Yeah,
It'll-
if you were gonna try to put something to make a 70 rating on a 4-inch,
It won't work.
they just don't even rate it. They say
Okay.
it's just done, you're finished.
So what's the change that you want to make to
My
this?
recommendation would be to change our flooring on the second floor to carpet only in the living room, dining room, and bedrooms. No hard surface in those
Okay.
3 areas.
But Steve, what do we do about the people who have allergies? That was brought up at the last meeting or something, that they couldn't have carpeting. What do we do about them? Medical conditions.
Well, there are a lot of carpets out there that deal with that and minimize that severely. That would be the only thing I would say. I mean,
Claire?
So then you're going to allow the hard flooring on the hallways, the kitchen, and the porch?
They are currently.
they are currently, and we would leave that.
Always kitchens, bathrooms, and lanais are allowed to have hard surface
Hard
upstairs.
flooring. Okay. So that would be taken out of there, of that one, of this. So it would have to be carpet in bedrooms, living rooms, and dining rooms.
Yes,
And anyone that had them would be grandfathered because they were there. But in the future, if they took it out for some reason, they would have to replace it with carpeting.
Okay, and if they take it out and don't replace it with carpeting, are we going to follow through on this and make them take out whatever they put in and put in carpeting? Because we haven't been doing that.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We did it with Marie.
But in past years, when I started on the board, people could do whatever they wanted and we never followed through.
Oh,
And
but
John,
in-
I realize you were not here.
Yeah.
But it bugs me that we've got these restrictions or these rules, and then we don't do anything about them. It just makes me a nut, nuttier than I am.
Well, you're right, Claire, that they are out there. But in the last 3 years, we've made 10, I think. No, I'm sorry, 700. Marie Graziano, 708. She had to tear hers out and put
Did she
carpet
do
in.
it though? I
We
was
did,
under the
we did.
impression she hadn't done it.
Yes, oh yes, she did it. And
Okay.
266, we made them do it, take out the tile. And 118, the same way. So we've had 3 that put them in and we made them take it out.
Well, kudos, because we need to start enforcing this.
Well, right now, it's impossible to enforce the
You
way it
can't
is.
enforce it right now.
We have just been telling them no, and they agreed because of the transmission of the noise below. Right now, when we tell anybody no, they theoretically, by the declaration, until it's amended, could do it.
well, not with the new rating
Well, yeah,
discovery.
yeah, for the new rating discovery, they couldn't make 70, that's right. But still, it's an issue. it's a double-edged sword. It really is, because I can understand the people wanting the modernized type of flooring upstairs.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, everybody downstairs, life becomes miserable. Remember Marie, she was like 88 pounds and they had problems, you know, they had problems below because they could hear her walk, her dog walk in every step.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay, so what we're doing here, I believe, is are we voting on this, or is this just gonna happen, John? We're voting on this, that we're gonna bring this up at the,
Well, I think there is an owner on who maybe want to address this. I don't know, maybe you guys want to ask Tina if she says something. I presume she's on for this.
Tina? You're silenced.
There
You
she
hear
is.
me?
Okay, Tina.
Yeah, I've heard all that. I've heard all of this before, and John, all due respect, it's a matter of updating and modernizing. But I'm confused where you say that technically speaking, we could do it the way it's written now.
Well, it's a tough call because
Yeah.
I mean, the people who have done it have put the 70 STC materials, but now Steve has found out that was designed for 6-inch slabs. And
Right.
now we have 4-inch slabs, so it's not designed. So theoretically, they're not attaining the 70. So it is very confusing, but theoretically, no. But if you said, you know, well, 15 other people got it because they did it, it would be very hard for the board to come back and say no. It would be. I hate to say it.
Yeah, and yet the 3 people were forced to rip theirs out. I mean,
Yes.
it's been very confusing.
Well, they did it.
They weren't,
They did it because they didn't request. The people that have done it got approval, and it was a different story. As a matter of fact, 2 of the 3 were told not to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Good enough.
Thank you.
is that it,
To
Tina?
answer your question, Sue, it would be up to the board to propose to have an amendment written and sent to the owners with the annual meeting packet
Yes.
to amend the documents. So
Yes.
basically, a motion would be to have me have the attorney write the motion, the amendment. I mean, I've written amendments before, but you know.
Yeah. Claire, did you have your hand up?
Well, John just asked the question that I was going to ask. He answered the question.
Yeah, I think we have to have a motion to write the amendment and take it to the,
Yeah, we'd have to have it
Attorney-
on the agenda for the January meeting to put on the
Yes.
February notice.
yes, yes. So we'll put that, and we'll take the motion, we'll vote on it on the January meeting. Okay?
No,
we gotta
you
do it. We
make
gotta
a
do the
motion to
motion
have
now.
me obtain one for the board approval.
Okay, we need someone to make a motion.
I make
I'll
a
be glad to
motion.
make that motion.
There you go.
Who's making it?
Dick Picola.
I'll
Okay,
second.
Dick. Okay, Dick is making the motion. Would you like, you know what you want to say
Who
in that
seconded
motion?
it? Who
Steve, did.
seconded? Steve did, okay.
Picola,
Do you know what you're writing in there? Is there any discussion on it? Okay, please raise your hand if you oppose it. No opposing, so it passes.
I
We'll
have
be
a
ready-
question. Sue.
Yes,
It's after the vote, that's why I waited. John, will we be able to do an inventory of people who already have the flooring in? So that if someone puts it in without knowledge in the future, we would have an inventory of who those people are down the road?
We certainly have the right to enter units and look. I think we'd have to probably put something on the agenda allowing myself, I guess, would be the one that would have to do it, to inventory it.
Okay, I wasn't thinking of a personal contact. I mean, but if it's something we ought to consider, that's all I'm offering.
Well, you know, once you put this in motion, you want to be able to enforce it, as Claire said.
That's right. Yep. Okay, well, I'll bring that up again after this comes into its final phases. Thank you, John.
Yeah, the amendment would have to pass before you really got into it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay,
Can I say something? Like I said at the workshop, I think people that have done it and want to be grandfathered would voluntarily request that they be included as that they've already, have it, and
Yeah.
because they won't be able to do it later on. So if you've already had it, you'd think that they'd want to volunteer that information and say, look, this was approved already and I have it, and So, I agree with Dick that there should be a list made of the units that we're going to allow to grandfather, because then anybody later on could just do it on the sly and just say, oh, well, I did that 8 years ago. I did it 6 years ago. I did it before the amendment, So I think that we should just put it out there and say, look, if you have this flooring, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Peace, yeah.
yes, Claire.
This is what happens if the amendment doesn't pass? Do we have a plan B? Because if it doesn't pass and we can't tell them they have to put down a 70 rating because it won't allow the floors to lay flat, and they go ahead and put in the floor they want, whether it complies or not, what is our recourse then? And I'm not speaking against voting
I
for the
understand what you're
amendment.
saying. I don't know. I think we'll have to address that when it happens. I think that if we tell them that it's very difficult for the owners underneath because of the noise, let's hope that they will agree and they will pass it. You certainly can't control that, Claire. That's an
Okay.
unknown thing. You can't
Yes.
control it.
If I may, though,
Yes,
Steve.
Barbara.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, if it doesn't pass, and the way the article stands now is knowing that whatever they put down is not going to reach that 70 rating is grounds for the committee denying their application to change out the materials.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it'll go that way. Because I have to get approval and it won't be 70. And maybe someday it will be that you can get 70. Who knows? Maybe technology will change it. I don't know. Okay.
That's
with
why
that in-
it's important to know which units we can grandfather in, and that's it. And then anybody else, if they weren't included, then they're subject to these rules.
Yes, I agree.
And you all looking forward to my help because I get to walk up 141 stairs.
Good exercise. Gonna make you strong. Okay, John, you gotta go through your report. I think we've covered most of
Got to
it.
vote on this. Oh, we voted unanimous,
We
right?
did
Yeah.
vote it.
Yes, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, general items, the leak in spot 5 has been repaired. We had a rodent intrusion into unit 172. We found where the egress was, if you will, and that's been repaired and they've been killed. And FP&L has installed temporary electric service lines at 163 Pinehurst and 437 Palm Drive and Cluster L. We have replaced those. The cost was $12,745. We now found that we have 3 more temporary lines to replace. That will not be done probably till after the first of the year. We're coordinating that with FP&L. And all sidewalks in Cluster A have been cleared of mold or mildew. We're trying to do that in a timely basis to everybody, but it's quite a big job. There's an awful lot of sidewalks out there, but we're trying to do it. But the A has been complete, and we can thank Cookie Finch for pushing us along there. Owner Katie Williams, and I know everybody knows Katie, or most everybody knows Katie. She turned 100 years of age. Her neighbors held a party and they furnished a bench, placed it near pool 6 in her honor. It's nice. If you get a chance to walk over that way, you'll see a very nice bench with Katie years, Katie 100 years young on it. And finally, there's been 272 repairs or requests handled since the last month's report.
Okay, with that in mind, do we have any committee reports? Let's go through here. Steve, you have anything other than what you reported on today?
No, that's it.
Pete, is he here?
Pete's not, but the only thing we have to say right now is we filled in some planting holes in the hedges, and mulch will be coming probably the second week in January.
Okay, Chris?
We took a look at the photos that we have on the website. Have been up there for now 3 or 4 years. And so if we have some photographers out there who would like to take some new photos for us to put on the website, we'd be more than happy to take a look at them.
Okay, thank you. What? Somebody said something, but I don't know who or what. Okay, let's go on. Claire, anything else? Can't hear you.
No, I have nothing else to report.
Thank you. Tammy?
There was no pool meeting in December because of the board workshop. But we will have a January 4th, 10 a.m. meeting at Pool 4.
Thank you. Shannon?
Yes, we have a presentation to make in the January meeting, but not until then.
Okay, thank you. And let's see. Next, we have
Director's comment?
director's comments.
I have one.
Okay, Pamela.
John, how is the food drive coming?
Oh, my goodness, we have got food.
Great.
I mean,
Okay.
it's been, I'm glad you asked. That's, yes, we have bunches of food. I mean, really overflowing almost. And I understand that Chris has volunteered to package it up and take it to the
Oh,
St.
to
Joe.
the to St. Joe's. Yeah.
okay, because Debbie and I were gonna do it, but okay, go ahead, Chris, have fun.
No, I think Chris said it's okay. You could go ahead if you want.
No, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. All right,
That's
thanks, John.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, any other director's comments? None. Okay. Owners' comments. We have owners here. I think there were like 4 of them. Maybe there's more by now. Any owners have comments? See, there was Tina, Tom, Marianne, Chris, anybody else? By the way, owners, we appreciate having you here. Leslie, any comment? Nope. Okay, so with that in mind, okay, our next meeting will be, see, I had it written down here, but no, I don't know. Okay, January 11th, I believe, is our workshop at 10 a.m. And our meeting is January 17th at 2. So we will be having our workshop, be our first tryout, you think, Chris, in the office?
Yeah, I think we can do a trial run.
Trial run on January 11th. And then January 7th will be our meeting at 2 o'clock in the office. Pardon me?
What?
17th.
I just got a little kick in the
FYI.
ribs from my wife. I won't be here on the 11th.
Oh,
So,
well, then we're gonna have to do Zoom then, because we can't very well try it without you being here, right?
well, it would be hard, yeah.
Okay, everybody, I hate to break the news to you, but we're gonna have to do a Zoom then on the 11th. John, are you in agreement with that without Chris being here?
Should be not a problem. Chris, you going to be where you can set it up or what?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, all right, not a
So-
problem.
So you want to try it on the 11th in the office?
Sure.
Okay, we'll try it in the office without Chris. And then we'll have our January 17th there also. So with that, do I hear a motion to close our meeting?
I so move.
Yes.
Okay, motion, do I have a second? Second by
You bet.
Cookie. This meeting is adjourned, and before you go, everybody, Merry Christmas.
Yes, and don't,
And your
Christmas to
family.
you.
Christmas, everyone.
God bless. Have a good
Christmas.
day.
same to everybody. And Friday will be the employee luncheon, and at which they will get the proceeds of everybody's donation. So thank you all very much. They're going
Thank
to be
you.
very
God
happy.
bless everybody. Take care.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. John, are board members allowed to come to that little luncheon to thank the employees?
Absolutely. We'll just have to have the number because we have to increase the food, you know.
No, I wasn't thinking about eating, but what
You're
time
welcome
is
to come
the,
by. Anybody's welcome to go by and say hello. Absolutely.
is it at noon time?
It's at 12 o'clock and yes.
Thank you.
Chris, I just had reactions pop up on the bottom of my screen.
You just had reactions come up?
What kind?
So why didn't you think it waited until the end of the meeting?
It didn't want me to talk.
Well, unfortunately, when some people raised their hands, we didn't seem to acknowledge that as quickly as we might have.
No, that's okay.
You're better off to do something like that.
All right. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks,
Oh, you're
everybody.
welcome. You're welcome.
Bye.
Debbie, if you want to help take food over, let me know.
I'll do that.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
okay. Be glad to. When are you doing it, Chris?
Well, I thought we were going to do it Friday, aren't we, John?
No,
Weren't we
Friday?
gonna-
Friday's fine. Sure.
Chris, no one will be there. You have to take up Monday at noon.
Oh, Monday at noon, it sounds like, because nobody will be at the church to take it on.
Monday at noon. Let's see. I'll be out
Is
of
that
town.
okay,
that day.
John?
I'll be out of town that day.
Okay, I
I'll be
think we
back
can
on
handle it.
Tuesday. I'll be back on Tuesday.
Yeah, it depends on how long you want to keep it, John.
Yeah, well, it's not bothering us, but any way
Okay.
whatsoever. But I mean, you know,
Well, then,
You go-
is Tuesday going to work, Kathy?
Tuesday? I don't know. I work in the food pantry.
Yeah,
I only checked on Monday. The man said.
I'll let you know, Debbie.
Okay,
Sounds
great.
like it's-
Thanks, Chris.
sounds like it's the
Right.
old story. I'll be out of town on Tuesday.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.